That is it. We are rocking, rolling, recording. Episode 443, Derek Hughes, of No Laugh Track Podcast here at Acme Comedy Company in Minneapolis. I'm Justin Severson. I get to host this every week. Derek Hughes has not been here since January 4th, 2019, sir.
2 years.
Almost 3.
Is that almost 3 years?
We're I don't know if you know, but Brandon, can you bring a calendar out here?
Hold on, let me do the math in my head.
The big one from the office so people can see.
Yes.
We're about to hit
Yes.
2022.
3 years.
Nearly 3 years.
3 years. Yeah, that's nuts.
I got here today and Brandon asked, has Derek done the podcast? And you've done it's like 6, I think, but none in the last almost 3 years.
I think this is the 7th.
So welcome back.
Thank you. We would have done it Thanksgiving last year.
Yeah, that's right.
But there was governor came in and shut us down in the 11th hour, you know.
That's right. You often get a week around Thanksgiving here at Acme in the past.
Traditionally, I did that because I lived out of town.
Yeah.
For 20 years, I lived in L.A., and so I would always pitch to Lewis, you know, give me a holiday week, and then I could come home with family and spend time with family and also have an excuse to leave family at home and come to the club, you know, which is sometimes a blessing during the holidays.
Sure, a working home vacation.
Yeah.
I remember, and you know why I always remember that is because my birthday is right around Thanksgiving, and I remember one year my plan was to come see Derek Hughes on my birthday at Acme.
You would have come on your birthday to see me?
Yes, and got in such a huge fight with my ex-wife that night that we didn't do shit, and I remember saying the words, "You ruined my birthday!"
Because you couldn't go see Derek Hughes' magic show.
That's right.
Was that why it ended? Was that sort of the catalyst of the relationship falling apart?
Wouldn't that be amazing if your name is in the court records?
Oh my God. I'd feel responsible to find you someone new.
Yeah, well, things worked out. So things worked out. But that is absolutely true. I swear to you, I remember saying, "You ruined my birthday."
Amazing.
And it was a night I was going to come see you here.
I hate fighting with a partner. You know, that's the worst.
Yeah. Holiday stress. Yeah, it can.
Life is stressful. Partnership is stressful.
Absolutely.
Oh my God. I mean, really, there's nothing harder than a long-term relationship. Not just marriage. I mean, work. You know, Penn and Teller.
I was going to say, remember, you had that assistant for years, and you kicked him to the curb. No, you didn't.
I never had an assistant. I never ponied up the money to have an assistant.
Is that why? Because you have to split the money?
Yeah, you split the dough, and then, you know, I think it facilitates some, like, bigger stuff. Like, you could cut someone in half, or, you know, right? You could, but I never thought in sort of big show terms like that. I had mentors just talking about, you know, keeping it practical. Like, if I can get it into a carry-on.
Yeah,
right?
There you go.
You know, so for years, my whole sort of philosophy on developing material was, will it fit in my carry-on?
Are you making a joke because Teller's so small and he could fit in a carry-on?
No, he could fit in a carry-on. No, but going back real quick, it's just they have one of the most successful partnerships, you know, ever.
Oh, yeah.
And they love each other and respect each other. I don't think they spend social time together anymore.
Sure.
You know, they have a relationship, and it's a working relationship. And, you know, I think that's knowing your role with another human being is pretty important.
Yeah, it's probably better than they read the gossip about each other online than living it with the other one, you know? Like,
yeah.
That's your life. This is mine.
Sure.
Get together, do the shows.
Yeah, I think Penn's a little more scandalous than Teller.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I listened back to the last time we did this, of course, because I always
So
do
did
that.
I.
And episode 322, and at the end of it, you mentioned that you were about to be sent a bunch of trading cards from the Upper Deck Company.
Oh, damn it. I was going to bring one. Yeah.
You don't need to.
Yeah. There it is.
So back
the amazing Mertz.
Back in the January of 2019, you were talking about they was going to be sent to you. This is based, the amazing Mertz, based on a character you did on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That's right.
And how many of these did you sign? Do you know?
I think I signed 1,000.
1,000.
I think I signed 1,000.
Yeah.
and then I had to buy one.
What?
I found it on eBay.
Really?
Yeah, because I had to send them all back. Like it was very strict protocol with these,
So like on the
things.
back, it's like, this was, witnessed by a certified blah, blah, blah. How are they certifying that you actually signed this? How is this certified that you actually
There
signed
was
this card?
weird paperwork and stuff.
Yeah.
But they did send it to me. No human being was with me. I did. It was sort of like I had to sign a couple of things. So if it wasn't me,
Sure.
I don't know, I'd be taken to court.
How much were you practicing your signature to make it look exactly how you wanted? Be honest.
was
You didn't
brutal,
just
man.
start scribbling, because this is a good signature. Dude.
Thank you.
You
Thank
didn't.
you. But that work happened years ago, Justin. That signature
High
was
school?
a labor of love. You're
Front of
damn
your
right.
notebooks in
You're
high school?
Damn right. You're damn right. And then you run it through, handwriting analysis, and you find out that the choices you've made, determine that you are a serial killer.
Psychopath.
Yeah, and yeah.
That's right. Oh, so you do a little loop on the the G in Hughes? Psychopath.
Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Isn't that cool though? What a weird.
So I've totally.
Gig.
So here's the thing. I forgot that you told me about that, and then I've been going in preparation for podcast recently. I've just been searching my guest names on eBay, just like wonder what's gonna pop up. Maybe it'll be
funny.
Maybe it'll be because I found like old, 8x10s. Like I bought this weird one from Jeff Cesario's career
fantastic.
from in the early '90s that I'm waiting for him to come back and show to him. I bought the Jackie Cation comic book on eBay by searching stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you just find random stuff, concert, performance posters from performances, and then I'd search your name and saw this, and I was like, oh, that's right, and I never got one. So thankfully it just arrived 2 days ago.
I love that you have it. That's so cool.
$500, by the way, in case no.
Yeah, nice, nice. And it's as you eBay, guests' names. The bigger the guest, the more mundane the things you'll find, right? Like chewing gum,
Yeah.
Like Louis CK's
Yes, absolutely.
discarded trash.
So congratulations on this. Now that
Thank
it's
you.
a physical thing, it's so awesome. Do your sons have any interest? Like, did they realize how cool this is?
Absolutely not.
None.
No. Not because they're not into. They love the Marvel universe, but
Do they get that you're now connected? You've been
I
connected?
don't even know if I've watched the episode with them.
What?
I know. I need to. I get my ass kicked.
Yes, you do.
I get my ass kicked hard.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was good.
If you told me that show was still on right now, I'd go, okay. Is it? I have no
It
idea.
might be.
I have no idea.
I don't think it is. Craig, the producer who created that character and one of the head writers of the show, I had the pleasure of performing a number of times for his birthday party in Hollywood after we worked together on the show.
Oh, nice.
And I think he did work on the Percy Jackson movies as a
Okay.
writer.
Sure.
And I think I follow him on Instagram, and the show's not still going.
Yeah. How? So we're here Christmas week, of
Yeah.
course, at Acme.
Yeah,
You had a show last night.
we did.
As good as ever?
Two show week. It was a great show. This room's always so much fun. I had a very, very busy December, my friend, and so
I was curious. What have you been doing? Yeah.
I had just a very sort of eclectic mix of corporate holiday events. I'd say about half were live and half were virtual, because since we were last sitting in these chairs, the world fell apart.
Yeah.
Right.
Pre-pandemic, had you ever done a virtual magic show?
Absolutely not.
No.
No,
No chance.
not at all. And the idea of doing a virtual show. So when the pandemic got very serious and dates started falling off the calendar or getting rescheduled for 1 and 2 years out.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to, and this is like I had something booked, in October of that year, and I got a call from my manager and it's like they're moving it to 2022. And I'm like, "Great." I mean, it's nice to have work in the lineup, It's nice to know that there's work that's coming. But but a lot, everything really did cancel. And my guardian angel, my savior, is my corporate manager, business partner in corporate work, a wonderful man named Bill. And he was like, get me a promo for your virtual show. And I was like, Bill, I don't have a virtual show. And he's like, I don't care. Get me a promo for your virtual show. And he rode me on that. He would hit me up every week. And I was kind of ready to not do it. Just like bail, like, well, we'll come back when we come back.
Yeah.
Because if you remember, pretty much right away, a lot of comics and a lot of performers were offering their live show on Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Thursday, I'm going to do my show on Facebook Live, and you can pay me through Patreon. And that, I watched some of those shows, and it's a live show that they're trying to do on video. Like, it didn't work.
Yeah.
It was bad. They were not entertaining. They weren't really great shows. It was what would be great live, totally reduced.
One
to,
camera.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Right? Ugh. And there was this, it kind of felt a little desperate too, like people that were doing it, like, it all felt wrong.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to just do my act that I do live, in front of a camera. So I had to think about what that framing is.
Yeah.
What is Zoom, and what would feel like magic if I were sitting alone in a room watching my computer with a Brady Bunch grid of other humans and a magician. And then, so what would be magic there? And came up with a handful of pretty okay ideas and put them together, and had an idea for the promo. I hated the idea of a promo that was like, here's my Zoom show. Here's some footage of me in Zoom. I wanted the promo to be entertaining in of itself, and I kind of had this. I had this idea of, I'm talking to the camera in a nice studio, and I keep getting interrupted by a voiceover that's telling the viewer how great I am. Hi, Derek Hughes has performed on MTV, VH1, and it's this deep, announcer voice, and then video images are kind of coming up on the screen and overlapping me, and I'm kind of getting surrounded by my credits and push it away, and I'm like, okay, that said, the Zoom show I'm going to offer is, and then at the end it cuts to my son in a voiceover booth saying, now can I have that cookie? Right. So the whole thing is a gag. Like the whole thing is a little entertaining. And once I had that idea, I was like, okay, I can make this promo, and then started working in Zoom, and wanted to also kind of take the piss out of the whole forum. Like in my Zoom presentation throughout the show, my doorbell keeps ringing, and I'm like, oh, hold on. I ordered something, and it was said it was late, but we might be in luck. And I leave the frame, and then I have a behind-the-scenes tech guy, Matt, who he then plays a video of a bad FedEx delivery, like a meme, And then I come back in with a box, and I'm like, hey, it got here, great.
I think I saw some of this.
Yeah.
I
was like, hey, we have a live feed back at the headquarters. How are they liking it? And it's black and white footage of an audience from the 1920s, right?
Yes.
So just jokes, just kind of keeping it light and taking advantage of the tech, and it ended up really, like, I had a very busy couple years. It's so weird,
and it looks like it may have to continue.
I'm not dismantling the studio.
No, I wouldn't.
No,
I wouldn't. I made the premature joke, last spring or whatever. Like, thoughts and prayers go out to the guy at the mall selling masks, thinking like his business is done, and then
no,
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
I had to go buy more a few weeks ago.
When it was sort of, the world was kind of opening up, and we knew that live dates were starting to book through the holiday. Bill had reached out and was like, hey, would you be able to do your virtual show, from the road? Like, if I booked you on a live thing, and then in the afternoon I booked you on a virtual, could you do it, basically from a hotel room?
Yeah.
And I'm a big yes and kind of guy,
Okay.
And I want to work. And I said, yeah. And so 2 weeks ago, I had 2 days back to back where in the afternoon I was doing a virtual from a hotel room, and then a live that night at the venue, and then traveling to a new hotel for a virtual, and then a live at night, and I will never do it again.
Okay.
I have never been so stressed, and I was only able to do one virtual. I was in San Francisco, Cavallo Point, beautiful venue. This like old army fort at the foot of the Golden Gate Bridge is now this, swanky venue.
Okay.
Hotel, restaurants. And I got in a day early, and I set up all my cameras and lights. I brought all this freaking equipment, man. Did not fit in the carry-on. Going back to my core philosophy, this was a lot of shit. Oh, my God. I needed a roadie. And did the virtual that afternoon, and like I hadn't accounted for like light at that time of day. So middle of the show, I'm getting a weird shadow on my head and I'm like, I had to get up and close the blinds.
Oh, jeez.
They were very happy. It went great because they didn't know the offering I'm super comfortable with.
Oh,
like,
sure.
I'm more comfortable in my studio because I've done it hundreds of times, and I'm there, and I have my resources, and I know the most stressful was Ethernet. Like, what's your connectivity, hotel? Because right?
God, could you imagine it cuts out like and then
No, and it's happened.
The trick is done.
It's happened.
Like,
Knock on wood, it has not happened to me. But I have had friends who they have absolutely lost, the show. Like everything shut down, and then no one can log back in. And good night.
And they're just standing there, and the rabbit's like twitching its nose.
Yeah, waiting.
Where'd that rabbit come from?
And then that night, I had to go from San Francisco to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and it was the blizzard.
Oh.
So I'm at my connecting flight, and I'm looking at the like swirling blue blob on the Weather Channel.
Yeah.
And dead center is Sioux Falls.
Nice.
I'm like, oh my God. And I was on the last flight. All flights after my flight were canceled.
Sure.
So I made it to the live show, but I didn't make it in time for the virtual. And I knew that was going to happen. So the night before, while I was literally getting ready to go on stage for the live show in San Francisco, I was texting Bill and another great performer, Colin Cloud, he's in Vegas right now doing a live show at the Mirage, but also a ton of virtuals. And Colin was available at the time, and he filled in.
Oh, wow. Awesome.
And the client signed off on it. I says, I hate to do this. Either we cancel, reschedule, or you get this other awesome performer.
Yeah.
And don't tell anyone, but I was fucking relieved. I didn't want to set up in a room and do it again. Like I
think you should have set up on the plane.
Go. Hey, everybody. Yeah. I'm using Go internet here.
I'm getting a glare. Excuse me. Wake up. Close your window. I'm getting a glare. No refreshments now.
Yeah.
This is part of the show. This is part of the show. So I brought this thing with me that I want to. Do you happen to have this? I brought another little thing here. 250 parlor tricks or magic made easy.
Oh no.
Now, I'm going to hand this to you, but you have to be careful because I have some pieces of paper in here, some things I'm going to read to you. So just take a quick glance at that. There are some pieces of paper in there that could fall out, but take a look at that.
Look at this.
Yeah, I looked it up on eBay. There's no dates in there. It seems to be about 100 years old, give or take.
Sure.
I'm going to are you a collector of stuff like that at all?
I collect magic ephemera. Mostly I am into posters.
Oh, I think you've told me that before. Yes, posters.
A catalog like this is interesting and nostalgic to look at. I'm more posters, and then I will buy at auction like books because they have secrets that haven't been seen in many years, and I will go through old books.
Sure.
To try to find new material for my brain.
Okay. So before I get to that just brings up another thing I want to talk about. In that David Copperfield has a new book about his museum, right?
Yeah.
And you've talked on this podcast. You've been to his museum.
Yeah.
You've seen the stuff, and it just keeps growing and getting more. Like it's more. How does it like?
It's like
you were telling me there's stuff, but it wasn't really visible, and it's now getting set up more and more as a museum.
It is
correct?
now like a beautiful experience. You move into a new room, and he has music and lighting cues. I mean, it's a show.
Yeah.
It's a walking show. It's absolutely incredible. And let me tell you, I'm blown away by this. But Copperfield sent me a signed copy of that book.
What?
I know. And I was like, why am I getting a signed copy of this book to Derek? You know, like, I was just so humbled and overwhelmed and blown away because, come on, man, when I'm 12, this guy's making the Statue of Liberty disappear, and I'm like, I want to be that guy.
It's almost like you're looking over my shoulder right now, but you're not. You're using your magic powers to know that I'm just about to say something about that Statue of Liberty thing, David Copperfield. So I found this interview that he did recently. I think it's tied into this book.
Yeah.
The about his museum, and this says they're talking to David Copperfield. It says you famously made the Statue of Liberty disappear in 1983. In recent years, a number of people have attempted to explain how you did it, including by having the spectators all stand on a giant lazy Susan, so it turns slowly. What do you say to that? Do you know what he says to this? Do you have any idea?
No.
What he says? Well, you know, it's amazing. There are so many versions of how I do my things out there, and people are surprised when they go on the internet. Well, somebody's revealing your secrets. He says, guess what? You know who made that? I made those misdirected method videos. People actually believe that those methods were real when actually they are kind of a fantasy thing to throw people off. Is he really making fake videos to throw people off?
Of course he is.
That's insane.
Of course he is.
Did you know that?
I did not.
Amazing.
I love it.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, well then, do you know this about Mr. David Copperfield? So then this interview goes on to him to talk about like the how he got into initially when he apparently bought some of this stuff, he wasn't even really into the history of magic, and since then he's obviously loves it and is keep adding to the stories. And so someone said, are all the secrets to your illusions also somewhere in the museum? Do you know where he's like all the secrets to his tricks are? Do you have any idea? And
No.
I don't even know if this is true. This is David Copperfield. My stuff is actually in a very special place. We put all of my secrets etched into nickel discs, which will last forever. Nickel will last for billions of years. It's all miniaturized, and you need a microscope to see it. And we blasted it off in space, and it actually crash-landed on the moon with a lander last year. What? So many of my secrets are literally on the moon. That package of knowledge might be found someday. It's pretty amazing to walk out of your house and think, my stuff that I touched and worked on my whole life, I preserved in a non-degradable form on our moon, which is pretty incredible. Is that real?
Well, he's a billionaire, so maybe. It seems like billionaires are going into space.
What the fuck?
That's unreal, man. But I can see him. This guy, really, it's his life. Like, his life is his life. He doesn't do anything else but think about his show and his magic and his legacy.
I was going to say, you better be saying legacy, because, holy cow.
No, he's a master of painting and creating the myth, a legend. That's wild.
Shot into space.
Sure.
What?
Crazy.
What other secrets?
Crazy. And and it's basically the equivalent of that, old 100-year-old pamphlet you have in front of you.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, it's his pamphlet, but then etched in nickel and get out your, well, you have to also have magic glasses to read them.
Sure. It makes magic secrets way more important.
Yeah, right?
Wow, way to raise the bar.
So this is something I want to bring to your attention out of this book. So this, of the 250 parlor tricks are magic made easy, right? This one, it says cure. Can you say cure or cure?
Where'd you get that thing?
I don't know. I've had it for years. I don't even.
What this is, listener, is it's a very thin. It's probably 40 pages of paper, not hardbound, and it's a catalog, almost like a mail order catalog. From a magic shop.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
From probably the turn of the last century.
So this one is Cure for the Troublesome Spectator. All right?
It's like a heckler stopper. It sounds like a heckler stopper.
Yes. Do you have a heckler stopper? Because I can tell you, oh my goodness, it's so hard to read this. Basically, this says that I read this earlier. You basically, if someone's giving you a hard time in the audience, it says it's normally a young boy, and that you need to then call them out and say, "Can you do a better job with magic?" And then you hand them over this magic whistle to see if they can make magic come out. You tell them to take a big breath of air and blow out of it. And when they blow out of it, it covers their face in powder.
Fantastic.
What the fuck?
That's great. The anthrax whistle.
Yeah.
Yeah. The 70s disco party whistle.
Yeah, like did magic at some point take a turn where it was like more like it went from being like mean to nice?
No, but it is funny, that idea of like how to deal with people interrupting your intended plan, right? Like I have a friend he's a wonderful performer, but he does not deal well with someone who's kind of going off the script, right? He's not great with hecklers, and he gets mean pretty quick. Like he'll say, "Hey, how about you shut the fuck up? I'm doing the show." That changes the mood of the room.
Yeah.
And that's his path. I had a mentor, a guy in Chicago named Eugene Berger, and he brought up early on for me the idea that hecklers, they don't want to ruin the show. They think they're helping the show. Yeah. This was really great for me to hear. He's like, they think they're a part of it. So you got to approach them with that mindset. And also, the second thing he said was also have such a tight, strong show that there's not room for people to,
right,
throw a wrench into it.
Uh-huh.
And those were two great things. And now if someone calls something out, I try to see where they're coming from in a way. And maybe that's where the real show is that night, because that can be fun.
Yeah, it's got to be different when they're on Zoom. Keep those mics down, right?
Oh, my God.
Right? Keep those mics down.
I'm telling you, it's just abysmal. I had this problem with Zoom. The first handful of shows, Justin, were like, I would be so depressed because the show would end, and I turn off my camera, and then I'm standing alone in a room. Like, was that even good? And then a couple months in, I turned my camera off, but I stayed in, and I was able to listen to them talking. And it was exactly what I needed. They were like, "Carol, were you in on that? Did he?" "No, I have no idea. I'm not going to sleep tonight." "Oh," and and I could hear that they had fun. And
that's awesome.
Yeah, and I really needed that at the time, and that gave me some wind in my sails to keep moving forward with that.
Not that it would have, but thank goodness it didn't go a different way. They were like, "Did we pay for that?"
I could have, no doubt. I mean,
right?
That's the insecurity, right? As a performer, you're afraid, like, you really.
Was that his first time?
Yeah, right. And when you're getting paid, you do feel this sort of, man, I feel like I gotta be worth it.
Sure.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And there's always a little shadow of a doubt, like, I don't know, because you're just doing tricks and jokes and being you, and why should that be worth anything?
Can you do this one? Kill a bird.
He's back into the catalog.
Kill a bird and restore it to life again.
Oh yeah, you saw the Prestige.
So
you need a lot of birds.
Yeah. So I was reading this one. To make it appear to the audience that you actually restore life to the bird, you must have two birds that are alike, of course. You just have one secreted under the table, the trick table. You then then in presence of an audience member, kill the other bird.
Come on.
It literally says it in the directions. Kill the other bird in front of the audience.
It was once an accepted method. That's how we did Sawing a Human in Half, too.
Like sacrifice a human?
You needed twins. Poor pauper twins. Usually orphans.
Sure.
Vagabonds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Somebody who never made a missing persons list.
Yeah,
was forgotten about. Oh, yeah. When do you think they stopped killing birds on stage? This is crazy.
I think they stopped killing birds on stage. I want to say
90s.
Yeah, probably. Copperfield's third special.
Remember
it's horrifying. It's a horrifying method. There is a thing with a bird, though. You can take a bird. It's very interesting, and sort of twist its neck, and not in a way that it almost paralyzes it. And it seems dead, and then by shaking it comes back to life. So that's a But even that is, people are like, that's not cool.
No.
To the bird.
So right above this,
I don't know. The
there's
birds are
another
pretty
version.
dumb. Birds are dumb. You know what I mean?
If they're even real.
You don't want to kill them.
If they're even real.
I have my doubts.
Yeah. So right above that, it says it's the more humane version of that trick where you're turning a glove.
It gives an option.
Yeah. You instead of doing the second bird,
if you have an aversion to murder,
yeah, just use one of your
get some gloves.
Gloves, basically. Turn your glove into that other bird. Like maybe you just should have done that one in originally.
Well, it's kind of
skip the dead bird.
Well, one is a wonderful illusion, like whoa, he turned his glove. The other is this person has powers.
Sure.
You know, so.
Yeah.
Blaine did a thing fantastic with a dead fly. He brought a dead fly back to life in one of his specials.
Oh, I think I remember
Very
seeing that.
old secret.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. That sounds very familiar. That's right.
But and how do we feel about that? Are flies do we?
Oh, yeah.
Is that cruel? Is there cruelty to flies?
Yeah, no one cares about flies.
Is that true? Okay.
There probably is someone actually.
I think there
probably.
I think for sure there is someone who's like flies have rights.
So I got one more here.
Okay.
This is I just love the description of this one. To render faces hideous in appearance. To render faces hideous in appearance. A lot of these things I noticed have
is that just you hand someone a makeup wipe?
Yeah, right. So you steep some hay saffron in alcohol for 12 hours, then add common salt to it, which is then dissolved and poured onto you set fire to it, then everything in the company who are fair in complexion will appear green, and those who are ruddy will assume a deep olive color. The red of the lips and cheeks will, in all cases, appear of a deep olive tint. So strange.
That is bizarre,
but
it seems like it could be a carcinogen.
And that's what I was going to get to, is a lot of things in this book are like ether, sulfuric acid, like there's all these chemistry set tricks.
Sure, and I'm corrected. This is not a catalog. This is a book of methods.
Yes, but I will say that I saw other versions of this on eBay it seemed almost bigger. It was catalog. It was like order this now and so.
Yeah, sure. So some of those, there's chemical methods for things that aren't.
Did you ever mess
cool
with that?
anymore.
Like tricks like that where you were mixing?
No, there was a story of a guy. He had a very famous effect where he made his fist almost like a Fonzie fist, thumb up, but bending the thumb back, and he would mime putting tobacco into his fist and then start puffing on his thumb, and smoke would come out of his mouth. And he would start blowing smoke rings, and it was a very dangerous chemical that he had sort of hidden in a device in his cheek, and apparently he did get very sick and die. It was not, but it was famous bit.
Sure.
And what a great effect.
I know.
Because then he would take the smoke. He covered a wine glass with a handkerchief, and then he make the smoke. He kind of grab the smoke from the air and throw it towards the wine glass, and then slowly move away the handkerchief, and now the wine glass is full of smoke. It's a beautiful trick, but not worth the price.
No, I guess not.
No, I learned a ton of I used to smoke cigarettes. No, I didn't. Health insurance, life insurance carriers. I'd say I would admire magicians who smoked cigarettes. And I, as a younger man, learned a bunch of magic tricks, great tricks, sleight of hand with cigarettes.
Yeah.
That are useless now.
Sure.
I mean, I do that. I will do them with crayons.
Yeah.
Slightly different cool factor.
Can you do that where you just flip it in your mouth? Is that a magic trick, or is
I would
just
do that?
a thing
Yeah,
cool
yeah.
Kids did in high school.
No, that's a cool thing, but it turns into a magic trick. So it's a stunt when you watch someone does it and you see them do it.
They flip the lit cigarette in their mouth.
That's right. But when you add a hand reaching up and covering it, flipping into your mouth, and then acting like you're taking the cigarette away from your mouth, and it disappears, and then it's back in your mouth. Now it's a nice trick.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would do that. I mean, I would have if I had ever smoked.
Right. But you never did, so you couldn't.
No. I was born, I had heart surgery, man. I would be an idiot to smoke anything, ever.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the camera you look directly into and say stuff like that. The last thing I want to ask you about, and maybe I've asked you about this before, but what have you ever, and what is stopping you from just being the guy that hangs out at a bar and just tricks some people I bet I can make that paperclip disappear. No, you can't. $10. I bet I can. You know,
sure,
just,
like Harry the Hat, like Harry Anderson, his character on Cheers, like a bar con man.
What is stopping you from doing that?
Fatherhood. You know, like I have time to go to a bar and hang out. You know, I go to bed at 8 now, man. I will say I do more than bar bets and like using my powers to get free drinks and money.
Yeah.
I do love random acts of magic.
Yeah.
You know, like with the barista.
Yes.
And with like hanging in a line. And I would do that much more. I feel like I did that a lot more as a younger man. Like lots of magic all the time, kind of always on. Maybe to the point of annoying. I hope not. I feel like it's a little different now as a grown-up, full-sized human being, because humans, what do you want, man? What do you want from me? Like, there's an energy of like getting past the threshold of like, I want to show you something cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I don't do it as much as I should or could. But I do love just doing random magic for people.
Because I would love to go out with you like in an afternoon and we just like make a killing off, you know.
You're going back to using it. You want to steal.
Yeah.
This is a get rich quick scheme.
Derek, Christmas presents are not free.
No, they are not.
Yeah.
No, they are not.
Yeah.
Last year I got my
I need to pay off a credit card bill, man.
Well, no, you don't have to. You just pay the minimum payment.
Perpetuity.
Talk about a scam.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. Who's conning who?
Uh-huh.
I got Oculus last Christmas.
Yes.
The virtual reality.
Yeah.
And Christmas night, everyone goes to bed, and I set up the perimeter in the basement, and I'm checking it out. And there's this game called Super Hot where you're kind of punching at people and you're dodging bullets, and I just punch my TV.
No.
I totally shatter our 45-inch flat screen new TV, and I'm just devastated. I laugh. I can't even get mad, and I immediately order a new TV, and it's 3 days for delivery. You know, so Christmas was no TV last year for 3 days.
Wow.
I know.
I'm glad you didn't say like, and then I knocked my wife out with one punch because she was like, coming in through the room.
No,
like,
but it could. You know, like literally, like it's you. I had made the mistake. If you haven't played one of these things, you set your parameter. You draw a line on the ground, and then that sets a barrier. And if you get close to it, the image of the game goes away, and you kind of see a grayscale version of the room.
Oh, okay.
You kind of poke your head through the perimeter, and you can see the room, and you come back into the virtual space wherever you draw that circle. Well, I just drew it like as close to the walls. Like I made it, like it's right along the line of the TV. And not 3 minutes before I decked the TV, I stumbled over the couch and almost took out our blinds, like big noise.
You don't do this until you set up the camera and record yourself.
I'm serious, man.
Yeah. I mean, there should be recording of that.
There should be.
It's disappointing that there's not.
And it's been a year, and I haven't thrown that TV away because I just can't. I searched. There's no way to fix a flat screen. It's disposable.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
And I just can't even wrap my head around it. I refuse to throw away this broken TV because I'm convinced someone can fix it.
No. I grew up near a place that was a TV repair guy. Yeah, and they've been out of business for 20 years.
No, because the flat screen, I guess it's just it just doesn't make sense financially to replace the screen. And
people stopped bringing in their VCRs and tube TVs. And
we had this issue with one of our TVs that it's a smart TV, but it stopped streaming Hulu. Like the software no longer, and we had to get an external, like a Fire Stick. And now we don't use the TV to stream our all the shit we pay for. We now use a secondary device, and now the TV is just a monitor. Like any of the streaming software is out of date. And there was no, like, we looked it up, and it's like, nope, that TV's done.
Yeah.
I'm so grossed out. Oh.
We've come a long way since the first TV I bought, which was with money. It was
not credit.
It was with money from my paper route. And it was a black and white TV.
Yeah, it was.
That just had freaking, like, not even a remote, just dials. That was like $125 at Best Buy in,
Fantastic.
1980, whatever. And, yeah. Or 90 something.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't even play my video game, my Nintendo on it, because it was black and white. But I wanted my own TV so bad.
So, right before I was living in New York, but I was back here and in Uptown, and a guy on the street offered to sell me this handheld color TV for, I don't know, $100. I was like, or 50, whatever, cheap.
Yeah.
And new, and I was like, awesome. Yeah, and I bought it. And I'm going into your, like, the con man. You wanted to see, maybe we could get a con thing going.
Yes.
I buy this TV, and then I go into the Best Buy that's around the corner to see how much that TV would cost, this handheld pocket color TV. And I go and I find it on the display, but the display model is missing. And in my pocket is the same model. So I discreetly leave the store because I bought this TV,
Alarm goes off when you're leaving.
So I'm pretty sure I bought that stolen TV. So cut to I'm in New York City with my buddy, and a guy holds up a package of a video camera, for cheap, and it's wrapped. And I'm like, let me see it. And he's like, whoa, the money. And it's like $100, And I'm like, great, let's do it. I just totally had great luck with this same type of transaction. And I pay him, and we go around the corner, and it's a box wrapped in like Sunday advertising paper for a video camera, cellophaned around it, and it's a brick in the box. So I got my comeuppance, and I ended up paying full price for that flat screen TV.
Did you ship that brick back to Minnesota?
No, I wrapped it and sold it to some dumbass on the street. No.
You regifted it.
Yeah. No. I'll tell you, that little handheld TV, though, was the only TV I had when I was had moved to L.A. and 9/11. I watched the 9/11 news
on like a 4-inch screen?
On a 4-inch screen with AA batteries until the batteries died.
Oh my goodness.
And I had no batteries, and I was sitting in an apartment in Venice Beach, and the world was on fire.
Yeah.
And
you might be the only one who has that as their 9/11 story.
Probably.
I think so.
Yeah. I watched it on a stolen television.
I think so. This has been fun. Merry Christmas, Derek.
Dude, Justin, thank you. Really appreciate you doing this every week, man. It's a wonderful thing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Come back and do a week at Acme more sooner than a few years from now. No more pandemics.
I look forward to it. I'm so glad the club's open. It's so great to be back on this stage. It's the best club in the world. We all know it.
Yeah, and where should your social media? You should mention that.
Stand-up magician.
Yep.
Stand-up magician, like stand-up comic, but stand-up magician. That's .com. At stand-up magician Twitter, stand-up magician on Insta, stand-up magician on TikTok, Grindr, stand-up magician. No, I'm not on Grindr. Stand-up magician, though.
Thank you.
Thank you.